public service online. Rwanda has shared this platform with several developing nations as part of its commitment to South-South cooperation. The Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security has been assessing Rwanda's role in promoting such cooperation, particularly homegrown solutions. However, some senators pointed out some remaining challenges in these cooperative efforts. I want to reflect on the issue of the African Continental Free Trade Area, CFTA, which was fundamentally designed to eliminate trade barriers and reduce tariffs across the continent. But the question remains, why is not being fully implemented? What is holding it back? What are the real challenges? Rwanda Cooperation Initiative was established by the government of Rwanda in 2018 to promote and share innovative development initiatives through South-to-South and triangular cooperation. The chairperson of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Cooperation and Security, Honorable Murangwa Hadija Ndangiza, emphasized that fully implementing the CFTA agreement would provide long-term solutions to the challenges in cooperation among developing countries.
African Continental Free Trade Area.
Regarding the AFCFTA, we believe it is a key agreement that will help us both as Rwanda and as a continent achieve the vision set of Agenda 2063. While signing such agreements may seem easy, the real challenge lies in timely implementation, as was rightly highlighted by the Honorable.
In May 2025, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe, told the committee that out of Rwanda's 49 diplomatic missions globally, half are located in developing countries. He said this underscores Rwanda's direct engagement and strong cooperation, particularly with those other nations. This reflects Rwanda's strong commitment to advancing South-to-South cooperation. Rwanda has played a key role in promoting unity and development across the African continent, particularly through various projects and its active involvement in the African Continental Free Trade Area, CFTA, aimed at boosting regional integration in Africa. The Senate report noted that Rwanda's cooperation efforts are progressing well, with Rwanda Cooperation Initiative RCI having deployed tech-based projects to 4 African countries within 7 years of its establishment. Additional projects are expected to be launched in countries such as Lesotho, Eswatini, and Chad. Adam Squizera, RTV News.
Moving ahead, the Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente states that the government of Rwanda is actively monitoring entrepreneurs who have abandoned mining sites without rehabilitating them, causing ongoing harm to the environment and to local communities and hindering the country's environmental protection efforts. Enora Gladys and Pax.
The issue of over 900 abandoned mining sites across the country was raised in the Auditor General's report presented to Parliament in May this year by Alexis Kamuhire, the Auditor General.
Abahawe uburenganzira bwo gucukura mu birombe 10 byo mu turere twa Ngororero.
Those granted mining rights in 10 sites located in the districts of Ngororero, Gakenke, Muhanga, Rutsiro, and Karongi did not plan for proper waste and residue disposal from the mining activities. In addition, 9 companies operating in the districts of Ngororero, Karongi, Muhanga, and Gakenke are conducting mining operations very close to people's homes. According to the mining agreements, it is the responsibility of the mining companies to compensate and relocate residents affected by these activities. However, this often leads to disputes when miners offer compensation that residents reject. Therefore, the Rwanda Mines, Petroleum and Gas Board should implement strict monitoring measures to ensure that mining activities do not harm the environment or disrupt the lives of nearby communities. Some sites were abandoned due to illegal mining practices, while others were deserted because the operators did not see expected profits. Some members of parliament are now calling on the government to take strong actions. If proper care is not taken to rehabilitate mined areas, especially by filling them properly, heavy rains can cause soil erosion, which in turn blocks water channels and destroys crops in the valleys, leading to significant damage. In some areas, we have observed that mineral extractors do not manage the wastewater used in mineral processing properly. Instead, they direct it into wetlands, which leads to contamination of water used for irrigation. Sometimes, this wastewater even blocks irrigation canals, negatively impacting agricultural activities. On June 9th, Prime Minister Dr. Edward Ngirenhe told the Parliament that the government will no longer tolerate mining activities that harm the environment. We have established penalties for those involved in mining who fail to restore the sites after completing their operations. These measures were put in place to ensure that mined areas are rehabilitated and to prevent the destruction of land and wetlands. As the government, we are actively fighting against this, and that is what I assure you today. Cleaning up these abandoned and unrestored mining sites could cost the government 26 billion Rwandan francs, aimed at protecting citizens' lives and public infrastructure. However, according to the Rwanda Mines, Petroleum and Gas Board, some of these abandoned sites, particularly in the northern and eastern provinces, have recently been put back on the market and are set to be re-exploited by new investors.
Now to Rwanda's education sector, more than 255,000 secondary school students have begun sitting for the national examinations, marking the end of the 2024-2025 academic year. Students observed notable changes in the exam format, particularly the introduction of multiple choice questions. According to the Ministry of Education, these changes are intended to help improve the national exam pass rate. William Evans has more on this.
At exactly 8:30 a.m., the first exam of the day started. It was scheduled for 3 hours for both ordinary and advanced levels. After the exam, students reported noticeable changes in how the questions were asked compared to the previous years.
It was quite easy. It was not as hard as we thought before we did that national exam. And the changes which were there, according to what we did in Senior 3, is that there was multiple choice. Of course, it was multiple choice. We had to circle the answer. You had to carry out all the steps and you get the answer. And after, you choose among the given answers, the provided answers, and you circle the correct one.
The national exam today was quite friendly. We did multiple choice where it was easier to get a precise answer after working out the questions that you were given. Previous examinations, you had to only work out and you would not be sure of maybe the final answer. But since today we had multiple choice, you would work out and compare your answer with the answers given. Then you can then circle the precise answer from the given multiple choice.
National examination was great. It was very easy compared to what I expected. Yes, I expected that examination very hard, but according to the questions they set, the examination was quite simple.
On the other hand, students emphasize that finishing their school is no excuse for engaging in misconduct or unrest. As people that are completing their high school education, we are going to demonstrate the highest discipline levels to honor our schools and where we come from. Minister of Education, Honorable Joseph Nsengimana, said that the changes in the national exam format will enable students to perform better compared to the previous years. Like you saw students taking their exams, the intention is to assess students' knowledge on different subjects they've been studying. Largely, we've worked with different schools to organize remedial programs to help students prepare well for these exams. This has been done in the previous months, and we hope they are now ready and will perform much better compared to before. In the 2024-2025 academic year, national exams are being held in 1,595 schools for ordinary level, 149,134 candidates are sitting the exam, of which 82,412 are girls and 66,722 are boys. For the advanced level, 106,364 candidates registered, whereby 101,081 are from public schools, made up of 55,435 girls and 45,646 boys and 5,283 private candidates. William Evans, RwandaTV News.
Still on Rwanda's education sector, parents and children from vulnerable families have found that without the Education for All program, accessing education would have been very difficult. This program marks a significant milestone in Rwanda's educational progress since the country's liberation 31 years ago. We have a detailed report. In Rwanda, education was long used as a tool to exclude and delay a section of Rwandans based on ethnicity and region. Statistics from the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement show that between 1970 and 1981, only about 8 to 9% of Tutsi students attended secondary schools among all Rwandans. Students who wanted to attend secondary schools had to come from the 7 prefectures of Rwanda and had to be equal in number to those coming from the remaining 4 prefectures, which are Gisenyi, Ruhengeri, Byumba and Kigali. Education expert Dr. Alphonse Sebaganwa explains that this was aimed at delaying and denying them their basic rights.
It also had consequences because if one part of Rwandans, no matter how many there are, is prevented from having access to education or from participating in the labor sector, it means the country wouldn't receive any contribution from them as the result of those actions. That in return greatly diminishes the development of the country. All of these are consequences for the country, for individual, for the family, and also for the nation as a whole.
This ended after the country gained independence. Today, schools are accessible in all regions, making it easier for people to attend.
On my part, if the 9-year basic education program weren't in place, I wouldn't be studying. We pay school fees, and for lunch, we pay 19,000 per term.
In all 9 and 12 years basic education schools, students are provided with lunch. Both students and teachers say this has improved students' learning.
This co-feeding program enables me to continue my studies well without hindrances that can come from not having what to eat.
If I take an example of a classroom with about 50 students, it sometimes had 10 absences or even more. But since the government forced the school feeding program, children now attend school regularly, except for those with valid reasons such as sickness or other serious matters. Parents deeply appreciate this program, confirming that all their children who participated have succeeded academically despite coming from disadvantaged backgrounds.
My kids were able to succeed at the ordinary level, but I had no means to support their education. However, they joined 12-year basic education program and they were able to finish their schooling. Now all of them have implemented their own teachers. One teaches in Ruhango and is about to earn his bachelor's degree. And this is all thanks to the government. The other is a teacher at Musambira.
In the 2022-2023 academic year, the dropout rate decreased to 4.8% from 5.1% in 2017-2018, while the absenteeism rate increased to 6.3% from 5% over the same period. In 2023-2024, the average class size was 56 students per teacher, which is higher than the recommended average of 32 students, but an improvement from 42 students per teacher in 2017. The districts with the highest students' dropout rates are Ngororero at 9%, Gassawa at 7.9%, Goma at 5.8%, and Huye at 5.7%. The Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, states that significant efforts have been made to construct more classrooms and increase the number of teachers in these basic education schools to ensure education for all.
The school construction program has not stopped. In fact, it is ongoing. We continue to increase the number of classrooms regularly. One major benefit of these efforts is that the distance children have to travel to school has significantly decreased. As a result, most students are now interested in studying, since some used to drop out simply because the schools were too far away. So the benefits now are that students now travel shorter distances to attend school. School dropout rates have significantly reduced as schools more accessible. Overcrowding in schools has decreased, allowing teachers to manage their classes more effectively. All of these factors contribute to an improvement in the quality of education. When students attend nearby schools, learn in less crowded classrooms, and receive more individual attention from teachers, overall quality of the education improves.
By last year, 2024, the number of students in primary schools exceeded 2.8 million, up from more than 2.5 million in 2017. This increase was driven by a 73% growth in the number of primary school institutions during that period. The government increased the number of classrooms in secondary schools to 49,561 in 2024, up from 31,927 in 2017. This represents a 35.5% increase and reduces the number of students per classroom from 80 in 2017 to 57 in 2024. With the country's goal being to reach 45 students per classroom. Now to Rwanda's agriculture sector, the Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board has announced that expanding irrigation activities and developing wetlands are among the key priorities in the second phase of the government's national strategy for transformation, and the goal is to combat drought and increase agricultural productivity. Director General of RAB, Dr. Telesphore Ndabamenye, stated that the government of Rwanda is working to expand the irrigated land area from 72,000 hectares to 130,000 hectares over the next 5 years. This is part of the efforts to address climate change and promote sustainable agricultural practices.
We have an irrigation master plan. We have the target for the national strategy for agricultural transformation. And then we have the targets, similar targets for the national strategy for transformation. This is NST2. At the ministry level, we have a strategy which is a resilient food system strategy, which has a component of irrigation as a key pillar to transform the agriculture sector. So we wanted to target around 60,000 hectares of land to be under irrigation operations within 5 years, and we have already different initiatives. We have a different project. If I give an example, we have the CIDAD, is a World Bank funded project. We have the QUIMP in Kayonza. It is the IFAD funded project. And we have also the existing initiatives under small-scale irrigation system, which is under the government subsidy. So those all initiatives are aiming to increase the land under irrigation. And as we move, we embark on the engagement of the private sector, most importantly for the operationalization and the management of irrigation scheme. So the plan is already there. The initiatives are already there. The funding is available. What we increase now is engagement of the key actors and the contractors to speed up the implementation of those activities, mostly the civil works, the design, and even sometimes rehabilitation for some damaged irrigated schemes.
Research by the National Institute of Statistics shows that in 2024, during Season A, only 7.5% of farmers used irrigation methods. The percentage increased to 12.1% in Season B and 58.2% in Season C. Overall, large-scale farmers were more likely to use irrigation than smallholder farmers, mainly because irrigation requires more advanced resources and greater financial capacity. Moving ahead to more matters, 3 major banks in Rwanda, led by the BPR, are investing over $300 million in the construction of the new international airports. The project is backed by the African Trade and Investment Development Insurance, which has agreed to provide an $84 million guarantee, and 3 institutions involved in the construction of Kigali's new international airport will receive financing from the Bank of Kigali, the Development Bank of Rwanda, and the BPR, which is taking the lead in this initiative. The CEO of the BPR, Patience Mutesi, stated that the project brings significant benefits to both the country and the banks involved.
So for local banks to be able to come together and show that, you know, the financial sector has also taken great strides. We're able to do large transactions. And that's really the power of, you know, the development that we have seen, but also coming together in partnership. And so that was made possible by that coming together, but also the partnership with ATD, because we obviously are regulated institutions, and so there are limitations on how much we can do on our own. So the partnership was really important with ATD to come and give us that extra muscle to do more. And ATD is recognized by the government of Rwanda through the central bank as an entity that can provide guarantees to local institutions for them to be able to do more. Now, there are a number of benefits that will come to us as banks. Obviously, as you can imagine, when you issue such guarantees, there are fees and commissions that come to the banks, and that is taxable income that then contributes towards the development of social amenities for the country. So the taxable income that also benefits the country. Number 2 is also the fact that the benefits then stay within the country. If you issue the guarantees, that means that when the funding also comes, it will be routed through the local banks, and the local banks are the ones that will then be paying suppliers, be paying the employees in the project, and so there's also the flow of the funds that then will come through banks. In addition to that, it also gives us an opportunity to bank the value chain. There's obviously the contractors that will be involved in the project, but together with those contractors, the contractors will subcontract. I believe that for us as the banks that have been able to issue these guarantees, we're then able to also provide banking services to the subcontractors. And finally, last but not least, is also the fact that it gives us the ability to showcase the capacity of the local banks, and potentially also contribute towards the direct financing for the projects. And so for us, we believe that this is really a first step in so many other opportunities that will then come to the local banks that are participating. And we're hoping that even for the future opportunities that will come with the project, because it's a large project, we'll be able to pull in even the other financial institutions in Rwanda that were not part of the issuance of the guarantees.
ATD's country director, Frederick Mutua, noted that over the past 24 years, the organization has mobilized $1 billion to support long-term investment projects in Rwanda.
Rwanda was one of the pioneer members of ATD, and across the years that we've been in, Rwanda was a member. We've unlocked substantial trade and investment into the country, over $1 billion in terms of volume of trade and investment. And we're happy to have partnered in this key project, which is not just infrastructure, but a key catalyst in opening up, especially the region in terms of the aviation, and it's also a key developmental project for the country. And today we are here to celebrate really the power of partnership between the several partners, 3 of them present here today. And yes, we feel honored and most welcome. We are glad to have provided this support, and really, MD, as you've said, we would not have done it without the support of the other partners in in the syndication. So we really appreciate, and it's our commitment that we look forward into looking at other opportunities where we can work together in opening up, attracting financing to the key sectors in the economy, and being the solid partner as we would anticipate to be.
The new international airport project is a joint venture between Rwanda and Qatar. It is one of the key development projects expected to help Rwanda move toward becoming an upper middle income country in line with the country's Vision 2050. To Rwanda's health sector, on Tuesday, the Rwanda Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists has provided the Kigali University Teaching Hospital with an advanced ultrasound that has the capacity to monitor the health of a fetus in the womb, valued at over 120 million Rwandan francs. Nora Gladys has more on this.
It's a Volleson-type ultrasound machine, which is the first of its kind to be introduced in government hospitals in the country. It has the unique ability to closely monitor the health of a fetus, particularly during the first trimester of pregnancy. The president of Rwanda Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, which donated the machine, Dr. Mivumbi Ndichunguye Victor, explained some of the benefits it will bring.
Of Obs and Gyn, we have a training and a program to train obstetrician. So this machine is going to help to train maternal-fetal medicine fellows, and it has really advanced features to be able to provide a best quality education for OB/GYN MFM. The RSOG has a goal to improve women's health, which means we are providing quite a lot of services, but also we're part of the stakeholders to educate and support medical doctors to become gynecologists and also specialists. The difference between this and the others, this has also artificial intelligence, so it can predict some of the malformation or issues for pregnant women. And this is, of course, it's not everyone who can use this. That's why it has been provided to Sajka, because we have maternal-fetal medicine doctors qualified who are able to provide and to use this machine efficiently.
The director of Kigali Teaching University Hospital, Dr. Tarsis Mpunga, acknowledged this initiative and explained how it will assist in providing better care for the expectant mothers visiting the hospital.
The old machine are less performer compared to this machine. As we continue to improve in technology, so system developers, they are now making software and the machines which are adapted to the need of the population. So that's why we have this machine. This is the end generation of machine. It's a sound machine, modern, which has the future and the capacity to diagnose abnormalities for a fetus. To be the expert in gynecology obstetric will describe further and the technicality, but in a simple term, at the first trimester of the gestation, this is the period where the fetus is being constituted. So that's where the abnormalities normally comes. So it is very important to be able to now to diagnose the malformation at early stage, so that you can apply corrective measures where possible, or also to follow the mother and the child depending on the situation. So the machine is a tool which is going to help clinician to be able now to make this precision diagnosis at early stage, to be able now to follow and treat mothers accordingly.
This ultrasound is valued at over 120 million Rwandan francs and has high-level capabilities, and also uses advanced artificial intelligence technology.
During last moments, laying hooks, giving away, making moves, Inyange is always there. Whatever the occasion, whatever the moment, always ask for Inyange.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo wagira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi harabamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashisha, ariko byaragiye nanditse amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Muyobozi wa sosiyete, turakwibutsa ko buri sosiyete isabwa n'itegeko kubika ibitabo bya sosiyete ndetse no gushyikiriza RDB amakuru abikubiyemo. Ibyo bitabo birimo igitabo cy'abanyamigabane, icy'abagenewe inyungu ku migabane, inyandiko y'amakuru ya sosiyete, ibaruramari ngarukamwaka n'izindi. Gutanga amakuru y'ugenewe inyungu ku migabane wanyura kuri bo.rdb.rw, naho gutanga izindi nyandiko ukanyura kuri org.rdb.rw.
You're still watching RTV News now to matters making headlines globally. Greece is grappling with its first major heat wave of the year, with temperatures soaring above 40 degrees Celsius. The effects of climate change are taking a toll on the country's economy, particularly in the agriculture sector. Farmers are facing increased costs for irrigation and reduced productivity due to extreme heat, leading to widespread land abandonment. We have more with Al Jazeera.
People who had traveled from across the world to visit the Acropolis in Athens were locked out this week.
I just took a cab up here, and yeah, it's closed till from 1 to 5 because of the heat wave. I think they should let people in regardless, you know what I mean? They got water.
You think they should let people in at their own risk?
Yes, and I think that's part of the experience, right? The Greeks experienced it back then, so why not have us?
But in the past, Greeks didn't experience it this way. Climate change has raised average temperatures in the Mediterranean by 1.5 degrees Celsius already, compared to pre-industrial levels. Tourism here has yet to suffer, but deeper inside Greece, climate change is taking a toll on the economy. This field, an hour south of Athens, is planted with parsley, a small crop that draws little water.
We water at night using pressure valves that produce a mist to minimize waste and to allow the moisture to stay in the earth as long as possible.
Those valves cost money, as does pumping water from a depth of 240 meters, 100 meters more than when Vordos was growing up in these fields, because the water table has fallen. And there are other climate-related costs.
Our work is outdoors. People can't work in 40-degree heat. We have them work in the morning and evening. That reduces their productivity by about half and raises costs.
As a result of these economic pressures, 2/3 of the land in Megara has been abandoned. The owner of this grove of pistachio trees has moved to Athens. It's now kept alive by a local farmer. According to a study by the Bank of Greece, by the end of this century, 40% of the country will be unsuitable for agriculture, and there will be about another 50 days of heat waves each year. Farming is being hard hit now, but with temperatures projected to rise by up to another 5 degrees Celsius this century, everything is bound to suffer. John Saropoulos, Al Jazeera, Megara.
And this report marks the end of today's bulletin. Thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television. Until next time, stay safe and take care of yourselves.
mwiza nshuti bakunze amakuru hiteganyagiye mwateguriwe n'ikigo cy'u Rwanda cy'ubumenyi bw'ikirere Meteo Rwanda. Tugiye kurebera hamwe iteganyagiye ryo ku munsi w'ejo ku itariki ya 10 Nyakanga uyu mwaka wa 2025. Turaza kureba uyu munsi uko wagenze, tuze kureba muri iri joro uko ikirere kiza kwitwara, ndetse turebe no ku munsi w'ejo turaza gukomoza no ku minsi 5 iri imbere. Duhereye kuri uyu munsi rero, mu masaha ya mu gitondo ndetse n'amasaha y'igicamunsi twagize ibicu byari byiganje mu kirere cy'u Rwanda. Gusa nta mvura byatanze haba mu masaha mu gitondo ndetse n'amasaha y'igicamunsi. Naho muri iri joro biteganyijwe yuko tuza gukomeza kugira ibicu byinshi cyane mu bice by'uburengerazuba ndetse n'amajyaruguru, gusa nta mvura iteganyijwe mu turere twose tw'igihugu cyacu. Naho ku munsi w'ejo mu masaha ya mu gitondo ndetse no ku masaha y'igicamunsi biteganyijwe yuko